Hey Simonics, what's up? Welcome to day 21 of our Ionic holiday calendar. We're coming closer to the end, but today another quick tutorial on sticky and fixed slots. So if you're using a list, you might have the need to keep some of the headers sticky to the top. You might know this from the contacts application, I think on iOS. I'm not sure about Android. And also sometimes you just want to have an element fixed to the top always at any time. So here we go. What I did so far is I created a simple tabs application and inserted a list with header. So the markup basically looks like this: Ion list, and then we got a few of the headers right in here, and just some dummy data at the bottom. And as you can see, we see the headers, but it's not really what we want to see. So we can now simply go into this and style our Ion list header. And let's do this. So Ion list header. And let's start by giving it a bit different background color. And if you're not sure how to find this out, just look at the element. And then you can browse, see the CSS variables, and we see that dash background is set. So we set this one to Ion color, the third option, and perhaps also the color to white instead. So now we can actually see our headers a bit better in the list and therefore make sense of it. Now, it is really easy to make them sticky actually. The only thing we have to apply is position sticky and then say at which position. So you could have sticky at bottom, sticky at the top, left, right, and then the element will stick there once you scroll up the view. So let's say we want to have it at the top position. And with only these two changes, our elements will now stick to the top. But it's still not working, and the reason is that our Z index needs to be increased in order to make them look above the items, because right now they're on the same level and now they will be basically above the items, and therefore now we can start to scroll and we see the next one will just be moved over this one, and it will also be sticky at the top, and the next one and the next one. And now we have exactly the behavior of the contacts application that you are used to. There was previously a package called Ion FX. I don't know if this is actually called FX, but that was for Ionic 3, so that's not working with Ionic 4. But as you can see, just a few lines of CSS will make this work. If you now want to spice this up and add some click events to scroll the headers up, no problem. Just go into your file and add a little click event to the headers. And let's call this one perhaps scroll to, and pass in the event. That's really important because the event will help to find out the element, and then we can move that element up. So let's add the click event to all of our headers. Normally, you of course might have an ng4, and then we use the scroll to with the event. So let's log out the event also, and then perhaps we'll just do this for now, so it's easier to understand what we're doing. If I now click on this, we get the event, and here we see the source element, and that's exactly the DOM element that we need. So e.source element, and then call scroll into view. That's something you can call on all the DOM elements. And then if you want, you can specify both behavior. So which language? This one. Let's make this one smooth. I think it's not working on iOS, so for iOS you might need another variation of this. And the block is just where into the view you want to scroll it, to the start, to the end, to the center. So this means we want to scroll the element that we clicked on to the start of the block. And that means if everything is saved, we should see that we can now click on this one, it moves up. And since we're having the sticky element, it's also sticky there. And everything works really, really great and also looks amazing, at least on Android. On iOS, I think it will just jump up. So that's for the sticky element. And the other option that I wanted to present you is the fixed slot. There's not really a lot of documentation about this, so that's what we do in this calendar, highlight a few of the things that you might normally not see so often. So let's say we want to have an Ion row simply above the content. I will just bring in the snippet for our page. Again, same list with all the content. And now a little Ion row without any padding and a button right in there. Normally this would now look like this, a button at the top that simply scrolls out. But if you want to keep this button inside of your view, what you can do is use the fixed slot. The fixed slot will make the element inside the Ion content floating above your content and sticky to the top. So it's basically a bit like using sticky, but if we look at this and remove this, we should be able to find out why it is where it is. Let's make this a bit bigger. Button inner. I'm actually, okay, yeah, I think it is somewhere because it is a slot of Ion content. I'm not able to find the CSS part for that slot right now. I'm actually not always that good in finding this information, but it is a slot of the Ion content. You could also look this up by using the techniques that we learned yesterday. And now you see this one's sticky, the sticky list, and this one is fixed all the time. Of course, you can put more into this. You could have like a little sliding whatever carousel or carousel, I think that's the name, at the top, or Ion slides in there. Anything you can think of. The button is just an example of the fixed slot. So a really great addition to know about in case you need to have something always sticky at the top. I hope you enjoyed this quick adventure. I think tomorrow we have a very, very special episode, and I'm super happy about this episode. I'm sure you will love it, so definitely come back tomorrow, check out the video. I promise you, you will love it. So, see you tomorrow for a new day of our calendar.